Developing right now on Morning News Now, federal fallout as the government shutdown drags into its 31st day, with funding for food assistance, a lifeline for millions of low-income Americans, set to run out tomorrow.
Donald Trump, out of vindictiveness, out of meanness, ordered it to be stopped, to use these innocent people who need food as hostages.
Our plea to them is just do the darn right thing and open the government, and then we'll figure all the rest of these things out.
But Democrats and some Republicans did come together in a bid to block President Trump's tariffs. We're going to have the latest from Washington. Also, emotional testimony from a former teacher shot by a 6-year-old at school 2 years ago in a $40 million civil trial against the school's former assistant principal, accused of ignoring multiple warnings that the boy had a gun. We'll bring you the latest from a Virginia courtroom. Plus, parts of the Caribbean picking up the pieces as Hurricane Melissa churns across the Atlantic. And in New York City, an all-day deluge triggering flash flooding, leaving entire neighborhoods underwater. We're tracking it all, plus your Halloween forecast. And is daylight saving time a trick or a treat? As we get ready to turn our clocks back this weekend, we'll bring back that age-old debate. Good morning and happy Halloween. Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off. We begin this hour with day 31 of the government shutdown. Frustration is growing over missed paychecks and the threat of the loss of food assistance for millions. Now, President Trump is calling on GOP senators to use the so-called nuclear option to end the stalemate. In a post on Truth Social last night, the president urged Republicans to, quote, play their Trump card and get rid of the filibuster now. That is the Senate rule that gives the minority party power to delay a bill through endless debate unless a 60-member majority votes to advance the legislation. It's the key to how Democrats so far have managed to block Republicans' funding bill until now. NBC's Alice Barr starts us off this morning with the latest. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. President Trump's filibuster comments come as both chambers of Congress are out of session today, meaning the shutdown will drag into next week. Contrast that with the increasing urgency as federal programs that provide food to millions of low-income Americans are set to run out of money tomorrow. President Trump overnight throwing a major curveball into the shutdown showdown, calling on Republicans to go for the nuclear option, to get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. Doing that would let GOP members pass a short-term funding bill to reopen the government with a simple 50-vote majority instead of the 60 needed now. The Senate's top Republican has publicly opposed changing the filibuster, instead urging more Democrats to cross over and back the bill.
We have a few already. We need 5 Democrats with a backbone.
Democratic leadership holding firm on restoring health care provisions.
The American people understand that there's a Republican health care crisis.
That amid a deepening food insecurity crisis. The emergency response organization World Central Kitchen, now in D.C., helping feed federal workers who are missing paychecks.
I wish people in power understood that we are much closer to poverty than a lot of folks outside of D.C. Perhaps don't understand or don't know.
And now SNAP food assistance is set to expire on Saturday, ripping a lifeline away from low-income Americans. Democrats pushing for a standalone bill using contingency funds to extend those benefits.
No president has ever stopped these funds from flowing in a shutdown.
Republicans rejecting blame, accusing Democrats of a political bid
To insulate themselves from the consequences of their own actions.
Now, as the consequences grow, one Republican senator proposing a constitutional amendment to stop lawmakers' pay while the shutdown drags on. Many states are trying to use state funds to bridge the gap on food assistance. California deployed its National Guard to help food banks, and 25 states filed a lawsuit that would force the federal government to use emergency funds to keep SNAP running.
So, Alice, we know Congress can't find common ground on reopening the government, but Democrats and some Republicans did come together in a bid to try and block President Trump's tariffs. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, the Senate voted 51 to 47, with 4 Republicans crossing over to block President Trump's global tariffs and restore congressional authority over trade policy, arguing the uncertainty is hurting American businesses and forcing prices up for consumers. The measure the Democrats forced to the floor is largely symbolic because it won't advance in the Republican-controlled House.
All right, Alice, thank you so much. In Virginia, the emotional testimony of a former elementary school teacher is shedding light on the very real trauma of school shootings. Abby Zwerner told jurors yesterday she thought that she was on her way to heaven after she was shot by a 6-year-old student back in 2023. Zwerner took the stand in her lawsuit against the school's former assistant principal, who's accused of ignoring several warnings about the boy who shot her. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk takes us inside the courtroom.
In her own words,
I thought I had died.
Former first-grade teacher Abigail Zwerner described the horror of being shot by a 6-year-old student at Virginia's Rich Neck Elementary School.
I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven.
Zwerner took the stand in the civil trial against her former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, who she accuses of ignoring multiple warnings that a student had a gun back in early 2023.
My next memory is I see 2 coworkers around me and I process that I'm hurt.
The bullet tore through her hand and lodged in her chest, just missing her heart.
Overall, I would say I do struggle with doing things.
In cross-examination, defense attorneys focused on Zwerner's actions that day.
Did you remove his backpack from the classroom?
No.
Did you search his backpack?
No.
Especially after she learned her student may have brought a weapon to school.
You still hadn't removed JT from the classroom?
No.
They also questioned whether Zwerner was really struggling from long-term physical and mental health issues. Showing direct messages Zwerner sent to both Taylor Swift and the music group Odessa, praising them after going to their live shows. The defense asked repeated questions about her decision to go to cosmetology school. Zwerner testified the latest surgery on her hand has made it impossible to get a job while she recovers. Her lawyers then wrapped up their case, and now the defense has a chance to call witnesses. The next day in court is Monday.
All right, Steph, thank you so much. For more on this, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris. Misty, good to have you with us. So, the question in this case, the key question, whether Parker was negligent in her duty as assistant principal to act on those warnings that the student had a weapon. How does Zwerner's testimony fit into that? And just what does the law say about a school administrator's responsibility?
So it's really interesting because this is a trailblazer case. And keep in mind, Ebony Parker, the defendant in this case, is sitting alone. The school is actually out of the case. The principal is out of the case. And that's because there are legal shields to have schools with liability for the acts of others. It's called sovereign immunity. But because Parker's actions were enough to establish the threshold of recklessness, meaning something a bit of a higher threshold than negligence, that there was a risk and she basically turned a blind eye to it. This trial continues. So Zwerner's testimony is critical to establish both the liability piece, this is a civil case, and the impact that the incidents of that day had on her, which relates to damages. This case is really unique. There's a whole new set of case law that will be established by this case and others relating to who can be responsible in these instances of school shootings, and in this case, with a minor. So this is certainly one to watch, not just for the outcome in this particular instance, but for how it impacts cases in the future.
I want to ask you about the cross-examination. It's one thing to question Zwerner's actions on that day, like did she remove the backpack? But is it a good idea in front of a jury to call into question how she's lived her life since the shooting?
It can certainly be alienating to a jury to talk about this traumatic experience and from a cross-examination standpoint have to really hit on the impact that this particular instance has had on Zwerner. in her life moving forward. It can be something that a jury looks at as being unsympathetic to the plight of this individual who very obviously went through a traumatic experience. That being said, from the perspective of a civil case, when you're talking about damages, the defense attorney's job is to try and undercut what is recoverable at the end of the day. So the questions relate to the extent of the injury and the impact that it had on the individual's life. So that's what we saw here. That being said, you have to toe a fine line as a defense lawyer, not to look like you're victim blaming, but to still get what you need on the record when it comes to the cross.
So as of Monday, there have been 64 school shootings in the U.S. this year. We know it's rare for school officials to be held accountable for these kinds of tragedies, but you just mentioned this is a trailblazer case. So what do you think it could mean for future shootings and victims, those who are looking for some kind of accountability?
So this is in Virginia. So the case law will be limited to this particular jurisdiction. But we have seen just across the country, and I'm thinking about Ethan Crumbley. That was another school shooting where his parents were actually held criminally liable for his actions. This is a new whole crop of case law, and it's all about who can be held responsible in these instances. And this particular case is of tremendous consequence. We're talking about a school administrator, a vice principal, and the issue that's at stake here is her actions on that day. And so it's twofold, Joe. On one hand, you have potential liability. She also faces 8 felony counts that are going to trial in November. And it's another aspect of it is what are schools going to do with respect to training and putting protocols in place to try and avoid these types of situations in the future. So that's why all eyes are on this case, not just from the legal perspective, but from the perspective of what can schools do better in order to mitigate the risk when it comes to these types of circumstances.
All right. Misty Maris, good to have you with us this morning. Thank you. This morning, Bermuda is no longer under a hurricane warning as Melissa starts to lose steam. Well, in Jamaica, thousands of tourists stranded are scrambling to find flights home. The majority of the island is still without power, and some supplies like gas are running low. NBC News correspondent George Solis is there with the latest.
Jamaica's coastline battered, communities completely destroyed. In the hard-hit town of Black River, roofs were blown off 90% of buildings. The difficult process of cleaning up now just beginning.
I try to be strong with them, but deep inside I'm crying. I'm really crying.
Alfred Hines is trying to salvage what he can after narrowly escaping Melissa's floodwaters.
I see the water at my waist, and about 10 minutes time, I see it around my neck here, and I make my escape.
Melissa's death toll across the Caribbean now at 36. On the road to Montego Bay, we encountered massive destruction, along with a frantic search for cell signal and gas.
This right here is a sight to see. People stopping and pulling over on the side of the road. This is the first bit of cell phone service people have been able to get here.
And this is the first time I've been able to get out and speak to family.
I'm sure they're worried sick about you.
More than 70% of the island still without power.
This is the scene in Trelawny, just outside of Montego Bay, as the search for gas grows more desperate. There are 2 lines here, one for cars, one for people. Police here on the ground to make sure everything stays orderly.
Then we finally reach Montego Bay.
Resorts and hotel across the tourist hotspot suffering extreme damage. Some tourists having to relocate, others hoping they can find a flight out.
Amanda Miller is trying to get home to Florida.
I love Jamaica, but I'm ready to go home.
How many tourists are stranded at your hotel now?
Oh, God, a lot.
At the Kingston Airport, a welcome sight. Aid starting to come in and tourists starting to get out. That's where we met Jamitra Alexander.
Ryu Resort right now at Montego Bay. This water is rising so fast.
After a terrifying experience riding out Melissa in Montego Bay, she was relieved to score a seat on one of the first flights back to the U.S.
We didn't even sleep last night. As soon as we found out that we had a flight, we did not sleep. We're not missing this flight.
Believe it or not, people are still staying at this hotel despite its appearance, waiting to see when they can get a flight out of Montego Bay. As far as the airport is concerned, officials saying it is still without power and it could be weeks before it is fully operational. Back to you.
All right, George Solis, thank you. Here in the Northeast, a deadly rainstorm is creating a nightmare this Halloween. Overnight, the storm brought heavy winds and dangerous flash flooding, impacting tens of millions of people from Pennsylvania to Maine. You can see here water gushing through the New York City subway system. Officials say at least 3 people across the Northeast were killed by floodwaters or fallen trees. Winds in Philadelphia reached up to 40 miles an hour. The worst of the storm has passed, but forecasters are urging people to use caution when traveling this morning with some lingering showers and unrelenting wind. So, will it be a night of trick-or-treating? Meteorologist Angie Lassman joins us now with the Halloween forecast after a night of pretty intense weather here in the city. Angie, good morning.
Yeah, the rains were really impressive across parts of the Northeast yesterday, Joe. They were dragging in some of that kind of tropical moisture to a different system, and that's what really exacerbated some of those rainfall rates and hence the flooding that you saw from those visuals. The good news is we're going to see most of that rain kind of be out of the picture. I'll show you the radar here in a moment with some lingering showers, but the unfortunate news is we're going to keep it quite windy. We've got wind alerts up across parts of the Northeast, 53 million people under these advisories with 40 to almost 50 mile per hour winds expected here as we get through at least tomorrow morning. We'll see some cooler air kind of settling into, and of course that's going to make it feel a little chillier when you add that wind to it. So heads up for that. Here's the remaining rain that we see. Most of it is going to continue to lift out of parts of New England and up into parts of Canada, but we could still see some of these kind of lingering showers across this region here as the rest of the day goes on. There's the system that we've been tracking. There it goes here through the day today. Still some mountain snow that you'll watch as well, and those cold winds will stay with us across the Northeast for the extended period. So that does mean a bit of a wet forecast for trick-or-treating or for Halloween in general across this region. Buffalo, Syracuse, Burlington, all dealing with the rain. Much drier if you live anywhere from Boston to Washington, D.C., and temperatures will range from the 50s to the low 60s in those locations. We'll see a whole lot of sunshine here across those areas through the day today. The Midwest, pretty good as well. We've got some rain for Minneapolis, so unfortunately for folks there, you have to dodge some showers in the upper Midwest, but low 60s in St. Louis, mid 50s in Chicago, quite cloudy in Detroit today. Upper 60s, though, for Jackson, and a whole lot of sunshine across the Southeast. I think this is the best forecast across the country. We've got temperatures that are mild. We've got low 70s in Dallas and a whole lot of sunshine. And even out west, it looks pretty good, too. Some heavy rain that we'll look towards Seattle for, but the rest of the West looking pretty good with upper 40s in Denver, low 80s in Las Vegas, 71 degrees in Albuquerque. Specifically for trick-or-treating, we'll see a couple of those showers in Bat Lake, Michigan. We've got 54 for Gravesend, New York, and then across parts of the South, Joe, Boneyard Beach, Florida, just 67 degrees, but clear skies, dry skies, even Dracula, Georgia looking really good out west. Honestly, the trick-or-treating and really Halloween in general forecast is really good across the country. Just a couple of spots that are going to have to dodge some showers.
That's great. I like Terre Haute, Indiana. That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good one, huh?
Right. Thanks, Angie. Appreciate it. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a robot coming to live with you. It's not the plot of a sci-fi horror. We're going to show you the real-life technology that you can soon buy for a high price. Up first, Prince Andrew, a prince no more. More on the latest fall from grace for the disgraced royal over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. We'll be right back. We're back with a major fall from grace for Britain's Prince Andrew. Amid the ongoing turmoil surrounding his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and accusations he had sex with the late Virginia Giuffre when she was a teenager, Buckingham Palace is now taking action. In a statement yesterday, the palace said in part that King Charles, quote, initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew, adding that he will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The palace also said, quote, these censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. The statement also offers thoughts and utmost sympathies to the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Giuffre's family released their own statement saying in part, quote, an ordinary American girl from an ordinary American family brought down a British prince with her truth and extraordinary courage. They say they'll continue to battle for accountability for abusers connected to Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Here to talk more about all this is NBC News royal commentator Daisy McAndrew. Daisy, good to have you with us. So, on top of all this, Andrew has also been ordered to move out of the Windsor home, Royal Lodge. How big of a deal are these moves by King Charles, and is this the maximum action that he could have taken?
It pretty much is. I mean, both removing his princedom, if you like, being called a prince, which is his birthright, and evicting him from his home, which he has a legal right to stay in. He has a cast iron lease, which, you know, in a court of law, he would be able to stay, but he has in effect been forced out. He's been forced to voluntarily, in inverted commas, relinquish that lease. So he has lost an awful lot. He's spent millions of pounds on that house, although it transpired he was paying what's called a peppercorn rent on the house, basically nothing per year. So now he's being sort of literally and figuratively sent into the wilderness.
Why do you think King Charles decided to act now? I mean, how much of a shadow were these allegations toward Andrew casting over the entire royal family?
Well, certainly we're looking at her picture there. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous book, which just came out, I think probably was the straw that broke the camel's back as far as the royal family is concerned with Andrew. But actually, before the book came out, he was getting in increasingly hot water because some of the British tabloids had unearthed some emails that proved he had lied in his famous Newsnight interview, in which he said he had severed all ties with Epstein when he went for that walk in Central Park in New York, that was in effect him saying goodbye and he had no contact after that. Well, it's been really revealed in the last couple of weeks that was a big fat lie. And he did have a continuing contact. And in that contact, he said things like, we'll play again soon. So it wasn't an email exchange saying, you know, goodbye, good luck or anything like that. He was, you know, obviously still a friend of Epstein, still considered himself close, but has publicly lied about it. So I think that, plus the Giuffre book, the royal family simply thought this can't continue.
Can the royal family move on from all of this? These actions, are they going to be enough to satisfy public concerns?
Well, of course, it depends what, if anything, comes out in the future. Many people would say the fact that no other accusers have come out accusing Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew, of molesting them or abusing them or being a sex offender, many people would put two and two together and say, well, therefore, if they haven't come out by now, they're not coming out. We know it doesn't necessarily work like that, and people can not come forward with their story for a multitude of reasons, and it can take years and years for some people to get the courage to come up. So I think people will be looking to see if anything more comes out, any more accusations. Of course, it's important to say that Andrew still vehemently denies all Giuffre's accusations. So if anything more comes out, yes, it can get worse for the royal family, but there aren't very many more censures that they can pull out, levers they can pull out to punish him.
Real quick, where does this leave Andrew now?
Well, literally, he's going to be living in Norfolk, which is in the middle of England, in one of the King's private estates. So the difference is the taxpayer, the British taxpayer, is no longer paying for Andrew's home, the roof over his head. His brother, the King, is. But that's going to be it. He's going to be there for the foreseeable.
All right, Daisy McAndrew, good to have you with us. Thank you so much. Back here at home, when it comes to the crackdown on immigration, the Department of Homeland Security alleges the agency is arresting, quote, the worst of the worst across the country. But is that really the case? Investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy from our Chicago affiliate NBC5 takes a closer look at the data and spoke to the former chief of staff of ICE.
When the tear gas clears, body slam bruises fade, and undocumented immigrants are hauled away, the real story of who the government actually has arrested is in this honeycomb of numbers, broken down by how much of a threat arrestees are and whether they were ever convicted of any crime. From the start of the White House effort to remove undocumented immigrants, the messaging has been direct.
We have focused overwhelmingly day after day after day on bringing in the worst of the worst and getting them off of our streets. Those are the murderers, the rapists, the pedophiles.
The government has plastered its motto on crisp web pages, reinforcing they're after the worst of the worst. And they've taken to posting pictures and backgrounds of criminal fugitives who are thought to be in the United States illegally. But according to its own data, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the agency known as ICE, is falling far short of maximizing this extensive law enforcement effort that has resulted in tens of thousands of arrests in Chicago and across the country. The past year of ICE data analyzed by NBC5 Investigates shows that on average nationally, 84% of detainees have no criminal convictions, a figure that also reflects what we have found in Chicago since Operation Midway Blitz began September 9th.
I would even say probably over 90-some% have no past criminal convictions.
It kind of shoots the mission in the foot, doesn't it?
The irony here is over the last 10 months, we've seen an administration focused on the sort of theatrical arrests. There hasn't been a focus on or prioritization or even putting resources against removing those that have final orders of removal and that those that are national security or public safety threats.
Less than 7% of those arrested the past year are considered serious threats by ICE, and numerous detainees at first labeled as worst of the worst apparently aren't so, including these three who were called out in ICE press releases as worst of the worst. Our investigation finding no criminal convictions here.
ICE has a finite and a specific amount of detention beds or jails that they can put individuals in. Americans need to ask themselves if those should be used for those that have no criminal conviction, have been working here for decades, and just for the sort of the theatrics of meeting these quotas of arrests and removal, or if those beds should be utilized for those that are convicted criminals, gang members, human drug traffickers.
Our thanks to Chuck Gowdy for that report. Coming up, out of network, life-changing surgery for a little girl denied coverage by her parents' insurance company.
So excited about her surgery. Might have to tell her we might have to cancel it. How are we going to come up with this money?
Up next, more on their fight and what happened when our team stepped in. And we're falling back for the end of daylight saving time this weekend. But could the end of daylight saving time be in our future? We're going to talk about it next on Morning News Now. It's that time of year some of us dread, but many others look forward to. Daylight saving time ends this Sunday at 2 a.m., which means many of us are going to get an extra hour of sleep. It's also re-sparking that debate we have twice a year about whether we should end time change altogether. A recent Gallup poll revealed more than half of Americans want to do away with it. Many experts say if we adopted standard time year-round, it could improve our overall health. Certified sleep specialist Dr. Carol Ash joins me now to talk more about this. Good to have you with us, Dr. Ash. So first of all, a little background. Arizona, Hawaii, they're the only two states that don't observe daylight saving time, so they don't ever change their clocks. But how does it impact our body when the time changes, like what we'll see this weekend?
Well, you know, we're designed to have a schedule that's regular, and unfortunately every time we flip-flop back and forth, it affects our sleep health, it affects our heart rate, our blood pressure, stress hormones increase, and it has a real impact on our metabolism and cardiac health. So, you know, a lot of us like the light that we get in daylight savings time, but this flipping back and forth desynchronizes your internal rhythms, and it's a problem.
I think for many people, when our clocks fall back an hour like they will this weekend, it has less of a negative impact than when we go forward an hour in the spring, when we lose that hour. But this falling back can make us a little more sluggish, too. So I know it's getting close. I know we maybe should have started prepping a few days ago. But what can we do to get ready for the time change this weekend?
You know, Joe, there's still time to prepare for the end of daylight savings time. So what you want to do is your brain looks for cues to know where it is in the 24-hour day. So first you want to adjust the clock early. You don't have to wait till 2 a.m. So you want to put that clock back an hour to cue that brain so that it knows where it is in the 24-hour day. Then you want to make sure you get AM light. That's critical. And now's the time to upgrade your sleep, right? You know, most of us are not doing what we need to do, the basic sleep hygienes, that relaxing routine, making sure the environment is right, comfy, cool, quiet, and believe it or not, eating healthy, because that is not only just good for your health and helps your sleep health, it actually also sets that regular schedule for the brain so it knows where it is in the 24-hour day. So not too late to start, and just start now.
Good. Right now, right this moment. I love that. I want to ask you about this new study from Stanford Medicine giving evidence that if we stuck with standard time, so that's what we're moving into here, instead of switching back and forth twice a year, it could lower certain health risks. What did that study find? How could that help us?
Joe, it's a fantastic study that just came out. And what they did, they looked at what is better, right? Is daylight savings time all year long better, or is permanent standard time, or should we not change the clocks at all? And what they found is really standard time, you get the most health benefits. So daylight savings time, you get about 2/3 of those benefits, but keeping the clock the same really decreases our health risk for some serious problems. It decreases the rate of obesity by 0.78%, and it decreases the rate of stroke by 0.07%. And that may not seem like a lot, but when you multiply it over millions of people, all desynchronizing and flip-flopping at the same time, it's really a great study that proves we got to make it permanent.
There you go. A good way to look at the health benefits. We know some in the business community would rather have it get dark later because then that encourages more shopping. It's all part of this debate. All right, Dr. Carol Ash, good to have you with us. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Joe, my pleasure.
All right. In other health news now, when an 8-year-old girl's ear surgery was denied by her parents' insurance company, her family drained their retirement savings and went into debt to pay for it. Well, now the family says our reporting is changing everything. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has the details.
Minutes before her 10-hour surgery, Olivia Olson is feeling confident.
I think I look beautiful, and I don't really care what other people think of me.
The 8-year-old was born with microtia, a rare condition that meant her left ear never fully developed.
I just want to get a big ear so people don't bully me in the future.
Next thing you know, you'll be waking up.
Her parents, Annie and Dave, knew since birth Olivia would need an operation to reconstruct her ear.
We had no doubt in our minds that the insurance was going to cover it.
But Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield repeatedly said that it wouldn't cover Dr. Cheryl Lewin, a California-based specialist in microtia restoration, because she was outside of the insurer's network.
We got a denial letter, and it was literally like a stab in the heart.
The family had sought what's known as a gap exception, allowing them to use their in-network benefits for an out-of-network provider.
This particular operation does not allow for any even minute level of imperfection.
Instead, Anthem gave the Olsons a list of 6 in-network doctors. We reached out to all 6 of them, and not a single one said they performed the surgery.
Everything was like kicking you when you're down.
Here, she's so excited about her surgery. Might have to tell her we might have to cancel it. How are we going to come up with this money?
Determined, they borrowed money from family, used credit cards, and pulled a large portion of the surgery's roughly $100,000 cost from Dave's retirement fund.
Did you ever hesitate and say, maybe I shouldn't take money out of my 401k?
So honestly, no. I'm getting emotional. To me, it's my responsibility as a parent to make sure that my kids have everything that they need.
NBC News asked Anthem about Olivia's case 2 days before her surgery, the family going forward with or without coverage. Then, on the day of, we were there in the operating room when her parents received the news.
And then at the 11th hour during the surgery, you say that you're going to cover it. It's like, what?
With surgery already underway, the Olsons learned Anthem would cover Dr. Lewin as an in-network provider.
Why do you think it got approved?
You guys, 100% NBC, your involvement.
I mean, that's the only...
There's no other way.
In a statement, Anthem says, we are happy that the member was able to receive the treatment she needed. Even though the member's plan does not cover out-of-network providers, when an in-network provider is available, we were able to make a unique one-time exception to ensure her care was not delayed.
Big day today.
2 weeks after surgery, the big reveal.
Big ear day, huh?
Big ear day.
1, 2, 3.
Look at that ear. It looks amazing.
And insurance, the furthest thing from Olivia's mind.
When it's fully recovered, I'm going to be like, okay, that was just a short little bump, and then I'll just go on with the rest of my life.
Our thanks to Camila for that report. It's expected to take a full year for Olivia's ear to completely heal, but the family is thrilled the surgery was a success. Coming up, Gone Dark, Disney pulls its channels off YouTube TV after contract talks collapse. We're going to bring you the latest on that dispute. Plus, would you buy a robot to help you with chores? Well, soon you can for a few $1,000. Our tech contributor Joanna Stern tried out the technology. She's going to tell us all about it next on Morning News Now. We're back now with a story that seems straight out of a science fiction movie. There's a new AI humanoid robot on the market, programmed to help people with everyday chores and tasks around the house. It's called Neo and comes from 1X Technologies. The robot goes on sale next week with a $20,000 price tag. Joanna Stern is the senior personal technology columnist at the Wall Street Journal and an NBC News tech contributor. She got a chance to try out the new 5'6" robot that's coming to live with you. That's what they bill it as. She joins us now to tell us about her experience. Joanna, good morning. I mean, you spent a day with Neo. So what did it do well? What did it struggle with?
Oh, where do we start? Well, look, yes, I spent a day with Neo, and the really big thing to now acknowledge here is that this is a humanoid robot doing sort of the unthinkable. It is doing the chores that we thought we would never want to do again, and it is doing them. It is putting things in the dishwasher. It is cleaning the counters. It is retrieving water bottle for you or beer or whatever you'd like to get you from the fridge. It's watering the plants. It's folding your shirt. It's doing all the things. Here's the catch, and you see it right now in that B-roll next to me. You got to accept that right now Neo can't do those things on its own. It needs help from humans that are wearing VR headsets and holding controllers to operate it. It doesn't need it for everything, but at least right now for most things, a human has to help this robot.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess you wrote it's a human puppet master of sorts that's helping control it. Tell us more about how that works.
Yeah, I mean, as you saw in that clip, I was wearing a VR headset and holding controllers, and everything I did, the robot was doing. And so what the company 1X is trying to do here is say, look, the robots are not fully ready yet. We need a lot more data to train the AI to make these robots do these things in your home autonomously. So we're going to go out, we're going to go to early adopters who are willing to pay $20,000 for this state-of-the-art robot. And you have to be okay with this company or our teleoperators, which are the people that wear these headsets, peering through your house and doing these chores. And yes, they're going to just be doing chores, but look, they might talk to you, and you're going to have this remote person in your home. And that's a pretty big privacy sacrifice for a robot that kind of does things well, not as good as humans yet.
Right, when you could just actually hire someone to come into your home and do that a little bit better. Based on your experience, are we getting close to a genuine breakthrough? I mean, at what point could we actually start to have Rosie the robot from the Jetsons in our home helping us?
Well, look, I've actually been researching and reporting on this topic actually for the last year. I've written a book. It's coming out in May called I Am Not a Robot, and it's all about the AI takeover, and a big chapter is about robots. And yes, there have been a lot of breakthroughs, similar breakthroughs that happened with generative AI happening with robotics. But the biggest issue is that these robots need to learn from data. With large language models like ChatGPT, we all know now that they've been trained on all of the internet. It sucked up all the internet and it learned from it. What these robots don't have is an equivalent of that. They now need to go out into the world and learn from it, similar to self-driving cars. And so that is what we need for these robots to learn and come into our houses and do more. And so that's going to be a number of years before that really happens autonomously.
What was it like just being with Neo?
I mean, a dream, a dystopia, all of the things, you know, like, look, you look at this and you're like, holy crap, this is real. This is the movies. And then you sort of see it struggle to do things. And, you know, this clip has gone viral of it opening the dishwasher. It struggles so much. And I'm sort of cheering on the sideline saying, like, you can do it, Neo, you can do it, which is just a surreal experience. Like, why am I cheering a robot to, like, do the dishes? But it's amazing. I mean, really, it's amazing. And, you know, people will, I think, see these. People, they'll be showing them off. But I don't think most people, especially viewers of this program, are getting a Neo anytime soon.
To be fair, I'm horrible at loading the dishwasher. Like, I'm not allowed to do it in my household because I'm just not good at it. So, all right. Joanna Stern, good to have you with us. That was fun. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to some of the latest financial headlines this morning. If you're looking for your Disney fill over on YouTube TV, you're out of luck for now. NBC's Emily Lorsch joins us with that and some other money headlines. Emily, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Some big changes for streaming viewers. Disney content, including ABC and ESPN, have been pulled from YouTube TV after the two companies failed to reach a new deal. Their contract expired this week, cutting off more than 20 channels. YouTube plans to offer members a $20 credit if the blackout continues for an extended period of time. And Apple's leaning deeper into AI. CEO Tim Cook says the company plans to add more third-party tools into its operating systems. The news comes as Apple reported record quarterly revenue, more than $100 billion. Apple says it's on track to release an AI-upgraded Siri next year and that it's open to acquisitions to advance its plans. Finally, Threads, Meta's ex-rival, is rolling out new tools to give users more control over their posts. A new reply approvals feature lets users choose which comments appear before anyone else sees them. The Thread says it aims to promote healthier discussions while keeping conversations public. The app also plans to roll out other new features as well as video ads. And Joe, on social media, giving users more control, I expect that will be well received.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people appreciate that. Emily, thank you so much. Today, of course, is Halloween, which means Thanksgiving is a few weeks away. So as you enjoy today's festivities, it might be time to start thinking about your holiday travel plans. If you haven't yet, word of warning, some of those airfares are already getting a little scary. Never fear, our friend Katie Nastro from Going is here to help us take some of the fright out of your holiday travel plans. So let's talk big picture. We've been talking about the government shutdown. It's still a big issue. Orlando last night, they had major delays because of a shortage of air traffic controllers. If this does drag on as we get into Thanksgiving, even beyond, what can we expect?
That's the name of the game. The longer this lasts, the bigger the impacts it can have on travelers. But I will say, out of this whole entire government shutdown, we haven't seen cancellations exponentially rise. They've been average to just below average. And for travelers, those are much harder to deal with. So I want people to come with a backup plan in case this drags on, maybe seeking alternate forms of transport, opting to drive. Gas prices are at an all-time low in the last few years. So that's something to consider, as well as try to take those early morning flights. This is the biggest tip we can give people. They have a 25 to 30 percentage point higher on-time arrival rate versus those afternoon, evening flights when we've seen the impacts of the shutdown actually happen more so. So that's just our big tip that people can leave with for going into the holidays.
I know plenty of people don't like to get up super early, but if it means you actually don't have to live at the airport all day, then, it might be worth it. All right, let's talk about the cost here of airfare. Domestic tickets up 6% at Thanksgiving, 7% over the holidays. Are there some ways to try and find some cheaper airfare out there?
Yeah, we want people to get in the habit of booking their holiday flights for a peak season, which we're coming into, Thanksgiving, one of the busiest time periods. Book in the opposite season, so you really want to get those flights booked in the summer. But at this point, the second best time is to get them booked now. And there are still some deals available, one of which is heading internationally over Thanksgiving. Even though domestic prices are up, international prices over Thanksgiving are down 1%. Flights from New York to Rome, $383 round trip. LA to Seoul, 50% off, $598 round trip. Those are stellar prices over the Thanksgiving week. And you're not dealing with the amount of people traveling on those foreign flights because so many people are traveling domestically.
We literally just did this. We're going to Rome in December because we looked at the flights and we're like, oh, this is cheaper than America. And so a lot of people are doing it. Are there any other international flights to look out at for?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of interest in Asia this year. You can go from Seattle to Hong Kong for $616. That's stellar pricing. As well as Europe, is always a great time of the year, really, because Thanksgiving is so much later. They're off the winter festive season, so you can go from places like Chicago to Amsterdam for only $466, Brussels $499. That's really an area of the world that starts to kick off the holidays, right?
Yeah.
So we want people to consider that if they wanted to get a jump start for that season, consider going to Europe.
Usually, I guess, European travel this time of year would go down a little bit, but it feels like it's even more so, right?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because everybody in the U.S. is celebrating Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is not. Right. And that's what we need to remember. So you really can have, you can see fewer people traveling in general. We're coming into sort of that shoulder season, low season, before the winter holidays really set place at the end of December. So it's a really great in-between intermediary time for foreign travel.
Yeah, I was in London once for Thanksgiving, and hard to find turkey. Not
to
thing
find
there.
turkey, but you know, a Sunday roast, just as nice.
There you go. Say it's basically the same thing. All right, Katie, good to have you with us. Thank you so much. Coming up, a trick-or-treat trend that is sprouting all over the country.
It started out as a joke. If you want to come back and get second helpings of candy, you're going to get threatened with a potato. The next thing I know, everybody wants a potato.
When we come back, the new Halloween tradition that proves it's the tot that counts. Don't peel off. Morning News Now will be right back. Back now with a trip to a SoCal landmark that some call a real-life Hogwarts. Just a stone's throw away from some iconic Hollywood landmarks, you'll find a place where fantasy becomes reality, where magic truly exists. NBC's Liz Kreutz gives us a tour of the Magic Castle.
Amid the sparkling sunshine of the Hollywood Hills, a place of magic, mystery, and history.
Welcome to the Academy of Magical Arts.
When the Magic Castle opened its doors in 1963, the private club quickly became a go-to hangout for all types of Hollywood elite.
This is the Johnny Carson bar, the Cary Grant table.
The castle itself, a picture postcard to a magical past.
So these are the Houdini handcuffs? Yeah, these are Houdini handcuffs.
But beyond paying homage to a litany of magical luminaries, Penn and Teller, Chris Angel, and David Copperfield are all members. The Magic Castle is also the premier training ground for the next generation of magical talent. Think of it like a Hogwarts, or really a Juilliard for magicians.
I am the founder of the youth program here.
Diana Zimmerman came to the Magic Castle in 1967 with just $45, a bag of magical props, and a whole lot of ambition.
My very first show that I did here, Cary Grant was in the front row, the actor.
With the help of the film icon and Magic Castle board member Cary Grant, Diana Zimmerman started the Academy's Junior Society. This year marks its 50th anniversary.
And to see the real magic that happens with them, I mean, the transformation of these kids.
Twice a year, the Junior Society holds auditions for kids ages 13 to 20 from all over the world.
It's difficult. We expect a lot of these kids.
We give them a 5-minute cap to show us what they've got. We want to see their technique. We want to see their personality.
Junior Society alumni David Doyle and Steve Barnes run the program now.
You both got your start in this program.
We did.
Yep.
They say it was an integral part of their youth and that a big part of the Junior Society is the community and sense of belonging.
So all of a sudden, you know, you show up here and there's kids with a top hat and a cane, and here's a kid petting a bunny, and you're like, I found my own island of misfit toys.
Now, once a month, members of the Junior Society gather to hone their skills in showmanship, illusion, and misdirection.
If they can't see the cards, how are they going to react?
It's a space where these budding magicians can practice their craft and receive feedback from their peers.
When you have something that you really want them to remember, you pause.
I met up with 3 of the elder students, Jacob, Aiden, and Ashton.
This is the only place in the world where you could all be together and do this.
There's nowhere else like this.
It's like the best thing that's ever happened to me.
I never thought this could be an actual job until I came here.
Wow.
They took turns bamboozling, mystifying, and outright amazing me, destroying and then restoring this dollar bill.
Is that your bill?
That is my bill.
You can keep that.
What? You totally ripped this up. That is wild.
Even mind reading, accurately guessing my card.
Oh my God. What?
And then mysteriously leaving a drawing on my hand.
But I drew this on my left hand.
Yeah.
I didn't touch your left hand. Open
it. Oh my, what? How is this done?
So you just, magic uses psychology, it uses skill, sleight of hand, and it uses misdirection. So that's the secret to all magic.
But for these students, it's more than just magic. It's the difference between the world as it is and what they can make of it.
Fun was that? Our thanks to Liz Kreutz for that story. Diana Zimmerman says when she started, there were just 3 professional female magicians. Now there are more than 300. Finally this hour, in honor of Halloween, we're diving into a growing trend this season. In addition to offering candy, some households are passing out something unexpected, something far from sweet. Here's NBC's Emily Iken.
Every Halloween, kids in costume fill their baskets with a smorgasbord of sweets. But there's a new star of the spooky season.
Pick whatever you want. You can grab two.
That is kids saying trick or tater.
Did you just get a potato?
Yeah. Videos of homeowners handing out potatoes on Halloween have been sprouting up on social media in recent years, leaving some puzzled, but surprisingly most ecstatic.
You want more potatoes? Who wants more potatoes?
Candy or a potato?
Pat Foy has become known as Potato Man in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I say to everybody, candy or potato, and they say things like potato all day. The little toddlers, they look at it like stunned.
And former longtime NBC News correspondent Kevin Tibbles has been handing out the starchy spuds for more than 2 decades.
It started out as a joke. If you want to come back and get second helpings of candy, you're going to get threatened with a potato. The next thing I know, everybody wants a potato.
What have you learned from passing out potatoes?
Everyone's got a good sense of humor, even me, and I'm the crabbiest guy on the block. But when I whip out a potato, everybody's got a smile on their face.
Happy Halloween.
As more trick-or-treaters are poised to strike Yukon gold. Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
Now, if they were handing out French fries, I'd totally be into that. All right, that is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stick with us. The news continues right now. Good morning. Happy Halloween. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off today. Right now on Morning News Now, the clock is ticking toward a SNAP benefit lapse. Millions of folks in need could be left with no food on the table as soon as tomorrow. President Trump now pressuring top GOP lawmakers to go for a so-called nuclear option that would end the ongoing shutdown now in its 31st day. But the commander-in-chief isn't the only one pushing for progress. How the nation's big airliners are now entering the fray, calling on Congress to pay critical air traffic controllers. Also this morning, underwater, millions across the Northeast drying off after Mother Nature dropped a deadly deluge of rain on states from Pennsylvania to Maine. One of the strongest storms to ever rattle the Atlantic, Melissa, is weakening as it moves from Bermuda across the Atlantic. Our Angie Lastman is tracking it all, including your trick-or-treating forecast. Plus, the great daylight saving debate comes back around. Millions of Americans mentally gearing up to fall back an hour early Sunday morning. But is the twice-yearly time warp actually running out the clock on our health, even our productivity at work? And it wouldn't be Halloween without a very special flipping the script. I'm sitting down with the masked musician Orville Peck. He's got a new single out today, all leading up to the drop of his latest EP in just 2 weeks. He joins us in studio later in the hour. We're looking forward to that conversation. Let's begin this hour with a new push from President Trump to try to end the government shutdown as it enters day 31. Federal food aid programs that help new mothers and families in need are set to run out of money at the end of the day. Now, President Trump is calling on his own party to get rid of the long-standing Senate rule known as the filibuster. That would allow Republicans to reopen the government without help from any Democrats. But with Congress already out of session, we do know the shutdown is set to continue until at least next week. NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles has the latest from a food distribution site in Washington. They're expecting to see a lot of people today. Ryan, good morning.
Joe, good morning. This Capital Area Food Bank Distribution Center is gearing up to provide relief for hundreds of federal workers across Washington, D.C. and the surrounding area. The trucks are gearing up to serve 2 different distribution sites specifically for federal workers, a sign of the growing need. And now President Trump calling on his Republican colleagues to end this shutdown showdown by going around Democrats altogether.
Fresh off his overseas trip, President Trump this morning putting pressure on Republicans to end the shutdown. Posting overnight, it's now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card, calling for an approach they've resisted so far, the so-called nuclear option, which would allow Republicans to pass bills with a simple majority rather than the 60 votes which requires them to work with Democrats. Both sides have been resistant to that move in the past, fearing it gives the majority party too much power.
The 60 vote threshold has protected this country
It comes as the shutdown is now entering its 31st day. Members of the military were set to miss a paycheck today, but the White House announcing it will move around $5 billion in federal funds to make sure they're still paid. Still, many federal workers struggling, some filing for unemployment for the first time, with more than 8,800 filed new claims last week alone, according to the Labor Department data reviewed by NBC News. Food banks in demand in Washington, D.C. and throughout the country. At the stroke of midnight on Saturday, the federal government is scheduled to halt all SNAP food assistance.
Without SNAP, it's going to be hard to find food that's able to feed us.
It's a problem members of Congress recognize, but fail to have an answer for.
You're messing with people's lives. That is outrageous.
Instead, the two sides engaged in a high-stakes blame game. Democrats pushing to pass a standalone bill to extend SNAP benefits, arguing the administration must release billions in already approved contingency funds. Republicans dismissing the bill as political theater, but Democrats argue that the country is on the verge of a health care crisis, and backing down will cause even more damage.
The talks will go nowhere if Republicans remain completely intransigent and resistant to any compromise on extending the health care coverage.
Now, even though President Trump has called on his Senate colleagues to go nuclear and end that 60-vote threshold that would be needed to end the shutdown, it can't happen anytime soon because the Senate's gone home for the weekend. When they return, they'll be right on the doorstep of that record government shutdown of 34 days. Meanwhile, food banks like this one all across the country facing a companion need of not only these federal workers who have now gone 2 different times without a full paycheck, but also SNAP benefit recipients and WIC benefit recipients who are seeing their benefits go away on November 1st. Joe?
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. Now, as the government shutdown drags on, severe weather is creating big delays at airports. Right now, more than 10,000 air traffic controllers are working without a paycheck. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello covers aviation for us. He's at Reagan National Airport with the latest. Tom, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. We had thousands of flight delays yesterday, thousands of them, 4+ hour delays in many New York City airports yesterday. And it was largely because of the weather, but also because of those air traffic controllers and the shortage of them aggravating the situation. And now we've got the airlines joining Republicans and saying this is going to get really bad going into the Thanksgiving travel rush if the shutdown continues. This morning, the pressure is mounting on the nation's airports, with flight delays Thursday reaching more than 7,000. The chaos caused by those storms on the East Coast and, in some cases, staffing issues. Even before the government shutdown, airports have been facing persistent air traffic control shortages, and now staffers are working without pay.
You're going to have mass issues throughout the airspace.
Yesterday in Orlando, Florida's busiest airport, flights were delayed for more than 2 hours due to staffing issues. At one point, the FAA warned there would be no ATC controllers for arriving flights overnight, but later they were able to increase staffing. Delays also hitting airports from Dallas to the D.C. area, and it comes as more than 10,000 controllers missed their first full paycheck on Tuesday. Jack Chris, a controller and single father, says he started driving for a food delivery service while seeking medical help for anxiety, and he says he can't be in the tower.
I'm a real person, and this is very, very, very difficult.
Republicans warn Americans could face travel chaos by Thanksgiving.
Look, it could be a disaster. It really could be.
And now the nation's 4 largest airlines are weighing in, endorsing what's known as a clean resolution, a CR, a funding bill focused solely on opening the government, also supported by Republicans.
Get that negotiation done behind closed doors without the pressure and without putting the American workers and the American economy at risk.
Also this morning, the FAA is investigating an unrelated emergency landing involving a JetBlue flight from Cancun to Newark. The plane, an Airbus A320, diverted to Tampa after experiencing a rapid drop in altitude.
Tampa, JetBlue 1230, descending to 10,000, we need medical equipment.
Tampa Fire Rescue saying 15 to 20 passengers were injured and transported to a local hospital. JetBlue says it's taking that plane out of service for inspections. Joe, it could be a rough day today for travel yet again. The rain's gone, but we have heavy winds on the East Coast. Already, the FAA warning of potential delays up and down the East Coast. By the way, out on the West Coast, we got a marine layer that could also contribute to delays on the West Coast. Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. Tens of millions of people across the Northeast are waking up to a soggy Halloween. That deadly rainstorm triggered heavy winds and dangerous flash flooding across several states overnight, including here in the New York area. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin is live in Brooklyn with the latest. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. At least 3 inches of rain fell in parts of the Northeast. Here in Brooklyn, a flash flood swept through this neighborhood. In fact, you can see how it pushed this car onto the sidewalk. And then around the corner, the body of a man was pulled from the basement of a flooded apartment building. Firefighters say they had to wear scuba gear to retrieve him. All this, as authorities say, 3 were killed from flash flooding and fallen trees.
A deadly rainstorm soaked the Northeast overnight, dumping rain on tens of millions from Pennsylvania to Maine, triggering dangerous flash flooding. In New York City's Central Park, a 100-year-old record washed away after nearly 2 inches of rain fell in a matter of hours. Commuters on the city's subway shocked by gushing waters, leading to widespread train delays. In Brooklyn, the storm turned deadly. Rescue crews discovered a man trapped in a flooded basement after he reportedly tried to save his dog. Authorities say he later died in the hospital. Another man was killed near Harlem. Police say he was found unresponsive in a flooded boiler room.
It's gonna be okay, Annalisa.
Meanwhile, in neighboring New Jersey, a harrowing rescue. First responders pulling a child from a stalled vehicle submerged in water. Floodwaters making streets across the tri-state look more like rivers. In Philadelphia, where winds were clocked as high as 40 miles an hour, a tree fell on a vehicle, killing a 44-year-old woman. This morning, leftover showers and unrelenting winds creating a northeastern nightmare on Halloween.
Now, this storm system is separate from Hurricane Melissa. In fact, forecasters say it's actually keeping the hurricane at bay, pushing it further into the Atlantic and away from the coastline. Joe.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much. Let's turn to Melissa now. Bermuda no longer under a hurricane warning as the storm does start to lose steam, but it has wreaked havoc across the Caribbean and Atlantic this week after making landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane. NBC News correspondent George Solis is live in Kingston, where officials are starting to get a clearer picture of the magnitude of the storm's destruction. George, good morning.
Joe, good morning to you. Search and recovery efforts continue here in Jamaica. Our team actually made it into Montego Bay yesterday, one of the hardest hit areas where tourists are still stranded and locals and residents are struggling to find resources. Organizations like Global Empowerment Mission, as you can see behind me, now here on the ground, starting to get some of that critical aid here in place, boxes of needs and goods, as well as generators, because there's going to be so much work here that is needed in the months ahead.
This morning, the staggering reality of the devastation is sinking in. 3 days after Hurricane Melissa tore through Jamaica as a Category 5 storm.
I wish I could explain the pain. It just too much.
Melissa, one of the most powerful Atlantic storms ever, made landfall here on Tuesday with life-threatening flooding and winds more powerful than Katrina. Satellite images show the island in total darkness.
Yeah, this right here is a sight to see. People stopping and pulling over on the side of the road. This is the first bit of cell phone service people have been able to get here.
American Demetra Alexander was in Montego Bay when the storm hit.
So how was that for you?
It was absolutely horrifying. Like, the devastation that Melissa brought is indescribable.
She made it to Kingston, taking one of the first flights out.
As soon as we found out that we had a flight, we did not sleep. We're not missing this flight.
In Montego Bay, Georgia's Amanda Miller among those still stranded.
I'm just keeping my finger crossed because I'm ready to go home. I love Jamaica, but I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, so much aid is starting to arrive here, some of it already being loaded into warehouses. It is going to continue to be a 24-hour cycle here to assess some of the hardest hit communities and parishes here. It is going to be months of recovery here, Joe.
All right, George, thank you so much. Incredible to see so much of that aid coming in already. Here in the Northeast, that storm system we discussed moments ago, the one that caused a lot of flooding overnight, it's now moving into New England and bringing some pretty strong winds to the Northeast today. Angie Lassman joins us now with the Halloween forecast. Angie, good morning.
Hi, Joe. Good morning to you. Unfortunately, we're wrapping up this work week with not as much rain, but still the winds are going to last as that system continues to move away. We've got 53 million people under these wind advisories across the Northeast from the coast all the way back to the Great Lakes. Wind gusts today, they could peak anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour, especially closer to the coast. Notice Nantucket, over 50 mile per hour wind gusts. I mentioned the rain is on the way out, and you can see exactly that, but still some lingering showers across parts of interior New England and northern New England, as well as across parts of the Great Lakes. That's going to continue to pull away, and we'll see drier skies for the most part, but we can't rule out a couple of spots where we see some rain and lingering mountain snow across the northern tier of this region. Those winds, though, they're here to stay for the extended period. So that means, including for your Halloween forecast across this region, we do have some wet spots, of course, from Maine all the way back to Buffalo. You can see those strong winds will be settled into this area, but notice all the sunshine closer to the coast. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Great sky conditions. I would be a little wary if you're going to head to the airports because those winds are elevated. We could see some delays when it comes to air travel across this region through the day today and potentially tomorrow. The Midwest looks great, too, for your Halloween forecast. A little bit of cloud cover in Detroit, but temperatures still moderate. 55 degrees for Chicago for your high today. We're into the 60s across Missouri and Kansas. And down across the Southeast, it's downright warm in some spots. We've got 74 for Houston, mid-60s for Memphis. But notice all the sunshine. It's on the cool side in some locations like Nashville and Atlanta, but still a pretty good forecast for late October. And out west, more of the same. A lot of sunshine, upper 80s for Phoenix, low 80s for Las Vegas, mild conditions for folks up and down California, upper 50s for Salt Lake City. One spot that you might have some trouble with when it comes to the rain across parts of the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, you're going to deal with some enhanced moisture here, not just through the day today, but through the weekend, essentially. We're going to see some of that additional rain that you'll have to dodge. Big picture look for your trick-or-treating. Those are just a couple of spots that we're going to see the rain across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Gould Creek, Washington, we've got some rain there and temperatures in the 40s. Some rain across parts of the Great Lakes. Notice Dracula, Georgia, we've got upper 50s. Gravesend, New York, mid-50s. Still some rain expected in Caribou, Maine here as we get through your trick-or-treating forecast, but pretty good in most locations. Meanwhile, we look ahead to the weekend. We've got a whole lot of sunshine. Again, it's still just those same kind of locations. So the Pacific Northwest with that additional moisture that you'll see bringing us some heavy rain. But otherwise, across the Rockies, out to the coast, down through most of the South, we'll see dry conditions. But notice a couple of wet spots here for your Saturday. Those chilly winds stay with us for the Northeast. And honestly, we're going to wake up quite cool for Sunday morning. There will be some morning frost that we'll have to deal with for folks across the Northeast. Mild conditions for the midsection of the country. And then we are sunny and dry out west. Temperatures will be kind of mild across the Midwest, but one thing to note, of course, the New York City Marathon is going on this weekend on Sunday. We're going to have pretty good conditions for runners in the early morning hours. It'll be on the chilly side, but spectators will have quite a nice fall day, Joe. We're going to see mild conditions, and the important thing is a whole lot of sunshine for folks that are running that race. And then, of course, we fall back. So we've got a lot going on over the next couple of days.
It is busy, but Caribou.
You like that one. I heard the giggle from across the studio.
Thank you, Angie. Appreciate it.
Of course.
It is that time of year again, as Angie just mentioned, the time of many of us look forward to, some might dread. On Sunday, most of us will turn our clocks back 1 hour as daylight saving time ends. That means it's going to start getting darker even earlier, but you get that extra hour of sleep. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda is here with everything that you need to know on this story you do twice a year.
Twice a year, right? Did you notice I'm wearing all black, dark colors? That is in honor of what it will look outside in the 4 p.m. hours starting this weekend. The impending time change is reawakening the never-ending debate over whether we should continue waffling between daylight saving and standard time, as new research warns of its impacts on our health.
It's the great debate that comes around like clockwork.
I despise daylight saving time ending.
I love a good fall reset.
For decades, twice a year, the vast majority of Americans have switched their clocks an hour forward in the spring and an hour back every fall.
How am I supposed to go on my nice little walk by the water after work when it's pitch black outside?
The intended goal, to best utilize available daylight, but studies suggest the biannual back and forth can actually negatively impact productivity, safety, and even your health. New evidence from Stanford Medicine finds if we locked the clock, there would be a decrease in the prevalence of both obesity and stroke, though by less than 1%.
The risk to any individual is really quite small. It's when 350 million people do it all in the same day that you can kind of see this increased risk for car accidents and heart attacks.
The issue returned to the Senate floor this week in an attempt to advance the President Trump-backed Sunshine Protection Act, which proposes to do away with the time shifts. But the bill stalled, with Senator Tom Cotton pointing out Congress has done it before and quickly returned to the twice-a-year tradition because of early morning car crashes involving kids.
Permanent daylight savings time would push winter sunrises to an absurdly late hour, depriving Americans of morning sunshine that's essential for our safety and well-being.
The debate isn't just to stop the clock, but also over which time policy should be permanent. In a Gallup poll this year, 19% of Americans say they like the status quo. 24% say they prefer to have daylight saving time the whole year, which prioritizes light in the evening, while 48% of Americans want standard time, which focuses on light in the morning in the winter. Stanford researchers fall into the last camp.
To get outside, get some light exposure to regulate your circadian rhythm and make sure you're keeping it dark at night so that, your sleep isn't disturbed.
To avoid clock shock from setting in.
Okay, so here's the good news as we enter standard time. We gain an hour of sleep with this weekend's time shift. Hawaii and Arizona, of course, are the exceptions. They do not participate in the twice-yearly clock change, along with roughly 2/3 of countries around the world.
Which, when you travel around the world, you realize, wait, but last time this country was this time ahead of us, and now it's this time ahead of us.
Also, the dates have changed as to when we actually change the clock. So it's just, it lines up for a lot of confusion around this.
It is confusing. You are here to bring us clarity every time. Emily, thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Much more to come on this Friday edition of Morning News Now, including how the shaky future of AI is playing into a Wall Street stunner for Meta's stock. First, after the break, Prince no more. Royal titles and honors revoked from Prince Andrew over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. What exactly will that look like, and why did King Charles wait until now to sever those ties? We'll take a closer look next. We're back with details from the emotional testimony of a former Virginia elementary school teacher who was shot by her student 2 years ago. Abby Zwerner told jurors yesterday she thought she had died after she was shot by the 6-year-old boy. It was the first time she took the stand in her civil trial against the school's former assistant principal, alleging that assistant principal ignored repeated warning signs the student may have had a gun. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk reports on Zwerner's testimony.
This was the most emotional testimony of the trial so far. Abby Zwerner describing in her own words the horror of that day and how she's still recovering. Meanwhile, the defendant's lawyers questioned Zwerner about her life since the shooting, even bringing up her attendance at Taylor Swift's Eras tour 4 months after the attack, questioning the emotional damage she says she suffered.
Former teacher Abby Zwerner remembering the moment her life changed forever when her 6-year-old student pulled out a gun and fired at her.
The look on the student's face is a large memory that I have.
The bullet striking Zwerner's hand before lodging in her chest, puncturing her lung.
I thought I had died. I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven.
Zwerner taking the stand in her civil trial against Rich Neck Elementary School's former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, who she accuses of ignoring multiple warnings from other teachers that a student had a gun. In cross-examination, Parker's defense focused on Zwerner's responsibility that day, especially after she learned her student may have brought a weapon to school.
You still hadn't removed from the classroom?
No.
The bullet remains in Zwerner's chest, a lasting reminder of the shock and pain she endured that day. The scars are both physical.
I do struggle with things, doing things.
And mental. Zwerner recounting how her relationships have changed.
I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to... No.
But Parker's defense suggesting that Zwerner has resumed normal life, including going to concerts.
They use strobe lights and visuals during a concert. Is that correct? Yes.
Defense attorneys showing a direct message Zwerner sent to Taylor Swift after going to the Eras tour.
This is a Instagram post.
It's a private message to Taylor Swift.
Zwerner also enrolling in cosmetology school, though she says she hasn't been able to work while recovering from her latest surgery. A hand surgeon testified Zwerner will never have full use of her left hand. Her lawyers have wrapped, and now the defense will begin presenting their case when court resumes on Monday. Back to you.
All right, Steph, thank you. In the UK, Buckingham Palace is stripping Prince Andrew of his royal titles and ordering him to leave his 30-room Windsor residence Royal Lodge. The extraordinary action was announced yesterday amid the ongoing allegations surrounding his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and a sexual encounter he's accused of having with the late Virginia Giuffre when she was a teenager. Andrew denies all the allegations. NBC News international correspondent Molly Hunter has the latest from London.
This morning, effective immediately, Prince Andrew will be formally stripped of his royal titles. He is no longer a prince. In an extraordinary statement, Buckingham Palace announced King Charles initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of his younger brother, who will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Following growing scrutiny over his connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the palace acknowledging the pain of the victims of abuse while saying the move was, quote, necessary, despite Andrew continuing to deny the allegations against him. It's a scandal the palace just can't seem to shake.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
2 weeks ago, Prince Andrew voluntarily relinquished his titles, including the Duke of York, but it wasn't enough. In addition to losing his titles, Andrew will leave his home at Royal Lodge as soon as possible, a mansion at Windsor Castle near where the Wales family lives, and where he hosted Epstein and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, along with convicted sex offender Harvey Weinstein at his daughter Beatrice's 18th birthday party back in 2006. Andrew will now move to a property on the royal family's private Sandringham estate.
The King realised that it wasn't enough for him to just say he would no longer use his title. Andrew has effectively been banished from all royal family moments.
The spotlight on Andrew intensifying after a recent posthumous memoir by one of Epstein's most vocal accusers, Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide in April, who said she was trafficked by Epstein and that Andrew had sex with her as a teenager. Her brother Skye and sister-in-law Amanda on what they wish they could say to her today.
Everything that you worked for, every deposition, every threat that came against you, everyone that called you a liar, this is your moment of vindication, and we're so freaking proud of you.
To Molly Hunter for that report. Andrew does remain 8th in line to the British throne, while his 2 daughters will keep their titles. Coming up, a historic wave of support for NYC mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, carrying him to Tuesday's election with a commanding lead in the polls over former Governor Andrew Cuomo. But his brand of democratic socialism is drawing jeers and confusion, along with cheers from some. Many really don't know what it all means. We're going to dive into it next. Back now, the closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with the backlash after Democrats were left out of a briefing about those recent U.S. strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Melanie Zanona has that and some other Washington headlines. Mel, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. We begin with an uproar on Capitol Hill, where Democrats were excluded from a classified briefing on the Venezuelan boat strikes. On Wednesday, the Trump administration briefed a group of Senate Republicans about the U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and provided their legal justification for the strikes. But members in both parties were upset to learn that Democrats were not invited to that briefing. At least one Republican communicated their concerns to the White House and said those briefings need to be bipartisan, while Democrats called it part of a larger and alarming trend of being shut out by the Trump administration on key intelligence. The White House says it has held numerous bipartisan briefings this year and is in the process of arranging more. Next, we're continuing to see some rare Republican pushback to President Trump's trade agenda. Before leaving town for the weekend, the Senate passed a bipartisan resolution to block Trump's global tariffs. 4 Republicans crossed party lines to support the measure after backing similar resolutions this week, overturning Trump's tariffs on Brazil and Canada. These measures, though, are largely symbolic, since the House won't take them up and Trump would veto them. But they do represent the growing unease inside the GOP over Trump's trade war. And finally, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem rejected the Illinois governor's request to pause immigration actions over Halloween weekend. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker wrote a letter to Noem asking her to suspend enforcement operations from Friday to Sunday, citing safety reasons. In the Chicago area, immigration enforcement efforts have devolved into chaotic confrontations with residents and activists. Last weekend in the Windy City, agents deployed tear gas in a neighborhood where kids were preparing for a Halloween parade. But in turning down Pritzker's request, Noem also cited safety reasons and called the governor shameful. And that's what's making news in politics this morning. Joe?
All right, Mel, thank you so much. Here in New York City, we are just days away from this year's election day. Early voting is already underway for New York's mayoral election. And with frontrunner Zohran Mamdani leading in the polls against former Governor Andrew Cuomo, this race has the potential to really transform the city's politics. It's Mamdani's chosen label, Democratic Socialist, that has his supporters cheering while his opponents are ringing the alarm bells, and even more people are still not really sure what that even means. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock explains.
In front of a roaring crowd in Queens, New York, the 3 political figures most associated with democratic socialism, Senator Bernie Sanders.
This country belongs to us, not them.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We are a working people's borough in a working people's city.
And Zohran Mamdani, seen as a possible standard-bearer for the movement and the favorite to be New York City's next mayor.
We won by 13%, with the most votes in any citywide primary in New York City history.
Supporters have a good sense of what drives democratic socialism.
For me, being a democratic socialist is wanting and guaranteeing dignity for all people.
But the question of what defines DSA, or the Democratic Socialists of America, has become a point of much conjecture, with former Governor Andrew Cuomo, crushed by Mamdani in the Democratic primary, trying to use it as a cudgel in his independent bid.
Zohran is not a Democrat. Democratic Socialist is a different thing.
And President Trump fiercely criticizing the 34-year-old's candidacy, falsely calling him a communist.
I wouldn't be generous to a communist, a guy that's going to take the money and throw it out the window.
Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires.
Mamdani, in an interview on Meet the Press, framing the movement as a fight for economic justice.
Call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country.
For perspective, we sat down with Kareem El-Rafai, who sits on DSA's National Political Committee.
Everybody has the right to a roof over their head, and that, everybody has the right to a living wage.
El-Rafai says DSA sprang up with Sanders' push for Medicare for All in 2016, now crescendoing with this campaign around affordability.
I will freeze the rent. I won't defund the police.
The centerpiece of Mamdani's pitch to voters: free buses, some city-owned groceries, rent freeze for 1 million rent-stabilized units, and a universal child care program he says he'd pay for with a 2% tax on millionaires and raising the corporate tax rate to match New Jersey's. Proposals that have sparked fears wealthy New Yorkers will flee the city.
We've raised taxes on the rich in the past, and they haven't all left.
So you don't buy the idea that people are going to flee as a result of higher taxes?
I don't.
It's also a movement about solidarity with Palestinians, supporting the nonviolent boycott, divestment, and sanctions, which critics call anti-Israel. Some Mamdani comments on the issue getting backlash, like at first declining to say whether Hamas should lay down arms in an interview with Fox News before pivoting on the debate stage.
Of course, I believe that they should lay down their arms.
How does DSA see Hamas? What does the organization think about Hamas?
Admittedly, it is a somewhat frustrating question to get asked. This has been, I think, one of the most Islamophobic campaigns in recent memory. DSA has committed itself to nonviolence consistently.
The big question, does the New York mayoral race mean something more for national politics? Is it realistic to think that the DSA is the counterpunch to Trump and to MAGA worlds and is going to be successful in places beyond New York City?
You know, that's the beauty of our movement, is that it's bigger than just one person.
Political analyst Hank Scheinkoff, who's consulted on more than 700 campaigns, says the traditional Democratic Party has already fractured.
This is the beginning of the end of the Democratic Party as we know it. If it survives, it will transfer into something else.
What that something might be appears to be rapidly picking up steam on America's biggest stage.
Our thanks to Sam Brock for that report. Nearly 400,000 New Yorkers have already voted early. Election Day is this upcoming Tuesday, November 4th. Coming up, baseball fans is down to this. Game 6 of the World Series hours away. And tonight, Toronto has a chance to finish the season on top with one final win against LA at home. Will they taste victory, or is it Game 7 on deck? We're looking ahead to all the action. Time now for a Money Minute. Meta stock just suffered its biggest one-day loss on Wall Street in 3 years. NBC's Emily Lorsch joins us with that and other financial headlines. Emily, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Yeah, not a great day for Meta. The tech giant stock falling more than 11% after investors questioned the payoff from its massive AI spending. CEO Mark Zuckerberg defending the investment, saying it will position the company for the next big shift in tech. Meanwhile, the tech giant's WhatsApp is making it easier and more secure to recover chats. The app is rolling out passkey support for encrypted backups, letting users unlock their data with their face, a fingerprint, or their screen lock code. That's instead of having to remember a password. This new feature is expected to come in the coming weeks. Finally, Canva is unveiling its biggest product launch to date. The design platform's creative operating system includes new editing capabilities, AI-powered design tools, and a new marketing engine. The company saying this and other upgrades will make it faster and easier for users to design, manage content, and even post their creations. Joe, it seems these days every company is finding some way to incorporate AI into its upgrades.
And things that make our lives better and make our pictures cooler, hopefully. All right, Emily, thank you so much. Tonight will be no trick for baseball fans, as they'll be treated to a World Series game for only the 8th time ever on Halloween night. The Toronto Blue Jays will take on the LA Dodgers in Toronto tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern for Game 6. The Blue Jays lead the series 3-2, which means they're just one win away from winning their first championship in more than 3 decades. MLB Network insider John Morosi joins us now with a preview of tonight's pivotal Game 6. John, good to have you with us. So before we look ahead to Game 6, let's look back at Game 5 Wednesday night in L.A. The Blue Jays were taking on veteran lefty Blake Snell of the Dodgers, but it was Toronto's rookie pitcher Trey Savage who put the team on his back, pitched a masterpiece, striking out 12 in 7 innings. Just walk us through how he took control for the Jays' Game 5 win.
Joe, good morning. Trey Savage was pitching in college baseball 1 year ago. It did not look that way in Game 5. One of the very best starts that a rookie pitcher has ever had in the World Series. Dominance on the mound. His split-fingered fastball, which is a pitch that looks like it's a fastball. It's going straight down the middle, then it just tumbles off the table. That was the pitch that was the difference maker for Trey Savage in Game 5. Also, it helped that his two teammates to begin the game back-to-back home runs against Blake Snell, who's been a Cy Young Award winner in the past for him as the league's best pitcher. So it was a surprising start. Savage sustained it. And now, as you mentioned, heading into Game 6 in Toronto tonight, the Jays with a chance to win their and Canada's first World Series title since 1993.
So let's talk about tonight. Blue Jays are at home at Rogers Center, so we know the fans are going to be very loud. What do they need to do to win their first World Series since 1993?
Well, Joe, I think that when you talk about the Toronto Blue Jays, and there you look at Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, we know how much talent the Dodgers have on their side of the equation. I think it starts with Kevin Gausman, the Blue Jays starter tonight, being able to set the tempo early. He has a repertoire that is somewhat similar to Trey Savage's, which, of course, the Dodgers just saw in Game 5. So differentiating a little bit for Gossman early might be important. And then we just saw those amazing shots of the crowd there in Toronto. It is one of the loudest places to play baseball anywhere in the world. And sometimes, Joe, the trick can be when you have a chance to clinch in front of your home fans to not let that anxiety get to you a little bit, so you're trying to do too much of the batter's box, trying to just settle in, which they've done a very good job of with those back-to-back wins in L.A. after that epic 18-inning loss in Game 3 that many thought might have actually taken those chances for the Jays to win down to 0.
Right, exactly, and they bounced back from that. So, I mean, the Dodgers' offense has been struggling during this Fall Classic. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. What do we need to see from them so that they can win tonight and force a Game 7 Saturday?
Yeah, Joe, excellent question. I still like the Dodgers' chances to win tonight, by the way. They've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was so dominant in Game 2 in the very same ballpark. So it always starts on the mound in a game like this. But you referenced the lineup. Outside of Ohtani's historic Game 3, it's been a relatively quiet World Series for the Dodgers' big three, of course, aside from Freeman's walk-off home run in that same third game. They actually moved Mookie Betts down in the lineup, which is a very rare step for the Dodgers to have him bat third. So they're trying to find a way to spark things, but it led to still a pretty meager offensive output for the Dodgers in their home finale in Game 5. So I think that they have to work some deeper at-bats. It starts with Mookie Betts, who was fairly self-critical after Game 5, saying he's been terrible. He's also been an MVP before in the league, Joe, so I'm a big believer in Mookie Betts. I think he bounces back tonight and that we'll see a Game 7 tomorrow.
This is an interesting note here. This is the first Major League Baseball season to begin and end outside of the U.S. The Dodgers started the season in Japan. Now we're in Canada. We only have a few seconds here, but talk about what we're seeing around the world. This is no longer just America's pastime.
Joe, I'm glad you asked that, because we have seen extraordinary viewership all around the world. Of course, these games are happening in the morning hours in Japan. I suspect everybody there, there's no need to work. Just watch the baseball game there when Ohtani's playing and Yamamoto's on the mound. And, of course, in Canada, in the U.S., it is truly, as you point out, Joe, the most global World Series we've ever seen. And it really is demonstration of how much the game has grown all around the globe.
All right, John, thank you so much. Appreciate it. MLB Network will be live from Rogers Center with all your World Series coverage beginning today at 12 p.m. Eastern. Well, some people say that when they met their partner, it was love at first sight, but more and more Gen Zers say they're actually struggling to find their perfect match. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler spoke with one intrepid reporter who's trying to get some answers.
Take a stroll down Dallas's Katy Trail.
Hey. I have a question. Are you single?
And your cardio may turn into a heart-to-heart.
He's taken.
Elsbeth Wempe is trying to get to the bottom of Gen Z's dating woes.
Oh, awesome. When was the last time you kissed a girl?
It's been a minute.
When was the last time you went on a date?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Have you ever ghosted a girl?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Candid conversations like that have earned her millions of views.
What's your line?
My line is, hey, I'm a dating journalist.
As she tries to help young people search for a spark that seems harder than ever to find.
It's so bad right now. The dating culture, I think a lot of people are distracted by the apps, social media, comparison culture, and need help searching for themselves.
What are the biggest complaints you hear from people about modern dating?
People ghost, people do not commit, they kind of just treat others like trash.
The youngest Americans are facing a crisis of connection. About 2/3 of Gen Z and millennials say they're lonely, many yearning for community outside of a screen.
It rings true in my friend group and in a broader social sense. Folks are getting married later, having children later.
And more than 3/4 of Gen Z and millennials say they're burnt out by the dating apps.
Are you on the dating apps?
No.
No, not at all.
I hate the dating apps.
Many say people disappoint them, or they just can't find a good connection.
What do you think it says about how people feel about dating nowadays that they connect so much with your page?
Because I'm catching people in the raw moment, sweaty, on the trail, in nature, in their element.
And that authenticity, that vulnerability is what's missing.
Yes.
But I'll be honest, I tried to put myself in her subject's shoes.
Cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is
And
hilarious.
it's harder than it seems.
When was the last time you went on a date?
Oh, gosh. No comment. No. I'm used to asking the questions around here.
Okay.
But for all her questions, the answer may be inside ourselves.
What you think about yourself is a reflection of who's a match for you. If you're very focused on yourself, then the sky's the limit.
Ryan Chandler, NBC News, Dallas.
All right, it is Friday. Some eagle-eyed morning news now. Viewers might be expecting a trip to Hollywood with the latest and greatest out of the world of entertainment. Your weekend can't miss list. But, well, it's Halloween, so we're going to flip the script with the one and only Orville Peck. The masked musician's got a brand new single out today. It's called Drift Away, all leading up to the release of his latest EP, Appaloosa, dropping in just 2 weeks. And he is here with us in studio to catch up once again after I had the pleasure of sitting down with him last year. Orville Peck up next right here on Morning News Now. All right, we end this hour with our series Flipping the Script, featuring people on screen, on stage, and behind the scenes, shining a spotlight on diversity. Enter Orville Peck, an award-winning country singer known for his signature mask, sometimes fringe, sometimes not, his deep voice, and his authentic songwriting. His music ranges from outlaw rockabilly to soulful ballads and includes collaborations with some of music's biggest stars. We're talking Willie Nelson, Elton John, Kylie Minogue. Peck has also been a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race and a coach on My Kind of Country on Apple TV. And we are happy to have Orville Peck here with us this morning. So last time we talked was about a year ago in Chicago, and a lot has happened in the last year and a half. First, I mentioned fringe on your mask because often you don't wear the fringe lately, but the fringe is back.
The fringe is back. You know, I just like to switch it up when I can.
For those who don't know you, the mask is not a Halloween costume. You always have the mask on. It's like a throwback to the old time Western days. So how does that affect your Halloween plans? Like,
well, on a day like today, people will be like, "Oh, great outfit," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, right. It's Halloween for me every day." But no, it's good. It's my favorite holidays.
Will it be incorporated into your Halloween costume, or?
I usually try to pick something that has a mask existing on it. So I'll do like a play on different masked characters or things like that.
Can you reveal this year?
I can't. It's always a surprise.
It's always going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, look on his social media for that. Let's talk about music. Your new single, Drift Away, is out today. I listened to it. It's fantastic, and it's part of your new EP, Appaloosa. That comes out in 2 weeks. Talk about your new music, what you were going for with this, and how maybe it's different from your music in the past.
Yeah, I think this EP is sort of a bit of a return to my kind of original sound. So it's a bit more of like a moody kind of, a bit less big production, that kind of thing. We kind of like streamed it all back and took it back to this kind of moody place to focus on sort of where it all started.
Were you feeling moody? Is that what was going on?
Yeah, I think I just, I like to kind of like mix it up and change direction with each release. And so, and it's also very New York inspired because I recorded it while I was here doing Cabaret on Broadway. So there's a lot of New York references in the lyrics. I actually do a cover from Cabaret on the EP. So
let's talk about Cabaret because you did 5 months as the MC. I know that was a childhood dream for you. Literally, when you were young, you said, "I want to be the MC in Cabaret," and that dream came true. What was the experience like for you?
It was incredible. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in the best way possible. Just incredibly challenging material, obviously. And then, yeah, getting to make my Broadway debut in my dream role. I mean, it was like I said, the hardest thing, but made it so easy because it was like a complete dream come true.
It's a story that's set in Germany pre-World War II, but so many people note it feels like almost a timeless story. Did it feel like it was of the moment right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's heavy material already, but I think it felt very poignant at the moment, and so it was a hard show. We definitely always finished it feeling kind of emotionally exhausted, for sure.
The way the theater was set up, it was sort of like almost in the round. Everyone was surrounding you. It was a very intimate setting. What was the crowd like? I mean, could you feel the audience during those performances?
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone was like right there, and it's the kind of show that evokes a lot of reactions, different types of reactions. And so you'll be doing a number and there's someone sobbing, 4 feet away from you. It was quite a visceral experience. It was you feel very vulnerable up there. There's nowhere to hide, but it was like incredible.
And it's noteworthy for those who did see it. They did see you without the mask, right?
It's true. I did unmask for it. I just wanted to respect the the show and the materials. So it was worth it to finally take the mask off for that.
How did that feel?
Terrifying.
Even after 5 months, it was still terrifying?
Well, I sort of forgot about it, obviously. But then, when I first appear in the show, sometimes you would hear reactions and I'd be like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, right. Everyone's seeing my face for the first time.
So now the mask is back on and you're keeping it on for a while, I'm guessing.
I'm keeping it on, back in my safe place.
You've checked off Cabaret, which was your dream, but are there other shows on Broadway that you'd love to audition for or be a part of?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's, I grew up acting and doing theater. I love theater. There's a few roles I would love to do, but I think I need a small break away from the Broadway schedule to get back to music for a while.
I don't blame you. It is quite the grind there. Yeah. So when we talked a year ago, we were doing a story that sort of centered on Pride Month, and we talked about how it's just always been so important for you to be your authentic self. And your fan base is so diverse. It doesn't know one demographic. I have to feel like right now that's important, that you provide something, especially as an openly queer man, that everyone, so many different people can connect to.
Yeah, I think the older I've gotten and the longer I've done this, I think that's become a more obvious responsibility for me, and I think creating paths or visibility where I didn't have that, growing up with loving country and not seeing someone like me making country music. I think I fully kind of understand that responsibility now, and I take it really seriously. And so, if I can inspire other people to feel accepted in a genre or in a style that maybe they didn't before, that's the perfect win,
We only have a few seconds left here, but I want to ask you about rodeo. That's a tradition of yours coming up in a couple weeks. So what is it? What are you planning for this year?
Yeah, so my rodeo, it's kind of like my festival I throw every year. So it's our 7th year this year. We're back at Pioneer Town, which is in the desert out near Los Angeles. And so it's a weekend of country music and drag and bingos and comedy shows and all kinds of things.
I think it's one of your favorite things you do every year, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Orville Peck, congratulations.
Thank
so
you.
good to have you with us here this morning. Again, it's the single Drift Away. It is out today, right now. The full album is Appaloosa. It's going to be available November 14th, and you won't want to miss the 7th annual Orville Peck Rodeo happening November 14th through 16th, as he just mentioned, in Pioneer Town, California. Orville, congratulations on everything. Thanks for joining us this morning. Finally, we didn't want to end this hour without showing you some of our Morning News Now teams celebrating Halloween. Here they are. And if you are wondering, by the way, right there in the center, Edward Scissorhands, that is our director, Regina, who I think has somehow been using those hands to punch all the buttons, maybe? I don't know. All right, if you are celebrating Halloween tonight, have a very fun time. Stay safe, stay spooky. Thanks to our incredible team for wearing costumes all morning long and brightening our days. There they are. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stick with us. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.